So I want to talk about today about giving compliments to your team, your contractors, and how to motivate the people around you. I want to go a little bit into detail of this because sometimes we lose track and we're going so fast, and there's people all around us doing an incredible job and working really hard, and they sustain their life with the business that you provide. And the multifamily business, the business that I'm in, it's a multi-million-dollar business. Like, one of these single properties is a small economy. We have our projects, our construction jobs, anywhere from $2 to $3 million. They support families. They support a lot of groups of people. And sometimes we're going so fast that we don't give compliments back. We don't tell people, "Hey, good job. I like what you did. Good work." And sometimes that's not even enough. I found myself, "Hey, good job. Nice. Thank you." Or they turn in 20, 30 apartments. And I'm like, "All right, good. Let's go to the next one." But there's no emotion behind it. You're not specific to giving them a compliment. So I want to add something that I started doing, and I would suggest, if you want to grow a strong team and you want to create a culture, I'm talking about people that want to follow you, they're going to go with you to war, take on these massive projects. You got to give them a little bit more. If you walk into a unit or they did a job for you, just don't say, "Hey, nice work. Here's the next job." Be very specific about their craft. What I noticed, some of these guys are very proud about their craft. Some of these painters, carpenters, kitchen cabinet guys, floors, like, they've been doing this stuff for years, man, and they're very proud of their craftsmanship and what they do. Instead of criticizing it, because that's mostly sometimes what we do all day, we come in, we criticize their work so they can improve it. When they finish their work, be specific. "Hey, I like the way you did the finish on that. I love the detail that you put on that cabinet. I love the way you did the floor and you leveled it." Like, be very detailed. "I love the way you finished this project for me and before the time, before my budget. Like, thank you for that. I needed that." Like, be very specific of what you're asking for, or be very specific what you're complimenting them on. That right there is going to go a long way with your team. You're going to grow a team that's going to follow you everywhere if you create that culture. So this type of accurate compliments, it's what creates a strong team. So be accurate about the compliments and just throw it out there. Try to be as specific as you can. Accurate compliments is going to pull a team to want to work with you, and in return, they're going to do a better job for you. So now let's talk about criticizing and people working to your standard. And there's no way that you can run projects and do construction and do your job every day without you always being on top of your job and criticizing the work. And so for people to finish jobs on time, keep the budgets in order. Criticism is one of those things that, we do it all day, every day, especially in our type of business. But sometimes we don't give enough details on the criticism. And that's what this conversation's about. Just because you tell somebody they didn't do something correctly, they didn't put something correctly, or they didn't color correctly, they didn't paint correctly, or they didn't put the cabinet correctly, or they're falling behind. You got to be more specific and tell them what exactly they're doing, why they're doing it that way. You need to get the full story sometime and ask them, why is this happening? Where is it? Sometimes a lot of these workers or a lot of people in your team don't communicate as well as you think they should be communicating. Sometimes they have their own personal issues, or they're scared of losing their job and they hold back and they don't tell you anything. Sometimes they don't have the resources. Sometimes they're working on the environment that is making it hard for them to do their job, and they just don't want to complain because they don't want to complain to the boss, and they don't want to be that complainer. But you gotta sometimes dig in and find out what's the reason why something is not to your quality, to your standard, and find a way how you can help them and fix it. And that's the type of criticism that I'm talking about. Don't just criticize. Go a little bit deeper and try to find out what's going on in your team. And in return, you're going to create a better culture. And it's all about that. You want that type of group of people working in your team where they feel open, they can talk to you about what issues they're having, why they can't do their job, why is it not being done. Maybe their staff is not, maybe they're going through some staffing problems, maybe they're, they need to rehire and you just got to give them time for them to get their team together. So that type of communication is what I'm talking about.